Shereese, thank you for coming out here. How you doing? Cool. Little elbows. So listen, we're talking about Black Lives Matter, the movement here on Staten Island. First off, how did you get involved? I know that you spoke at the Friday one at the 122 Precinct.
When I saw the George Floyd video, it was like history repeating itself. And for Staten Islanders, it's like, this is home. I know people say it's New York where it happened, but it's Staten Island. George Floyd is literally saying like he can't breathe is exactly what we heard with Eric Garner. So for me, it was like a ghost coming back from the dead. And it was crazy as Erica Garner's birthday just passed. And she was a good friend, and I spoke about her death and how much she was on the street nonstop. When people stopped marching, she was out in the street. And I was like, no, I gotta get up, I gotta do something, because, you know, here it is again.
Your focus is a lot about not forgetting the women in the Black community.
Yeah, absolutely, like Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland. I mean, it's important that we continue to lift up these sisters, because Breonna Taylor's story was just as horrific as George Floyd's, as Eric Garner's, Ahmaud Arbery. So, you know, making sure that we give that light, give that mic to Black women when they speak, like here in this moment, but also to the ones who can't speak, like Breonna Taylor's, and make sure that we give them that platform and raise them up.
A lot of times when Black Lives Matter is mentioned, some people will have a rebuttal that say all lives matter. Mm-hmm. What is your response to someone that says something like that, and how they're interpreting what you guys are saying?
Yeah, my response is Black Lives Matter. Because all lives do matter, but all lives is not what we're talking about. We're talking about Black lives. We're talking about Black people's lives in America that has a specific story, a specific way that we've been dealt with, systematic racism. That is not what we're talking about when you say all lives matter. You're watering down the message about how we are telling you that Black lives don't matter until we say Black lives matter. Until we say that we're going to march in the street, until we come up with ways that we want to move forward, until we say we're going to do it peacefully, until we say that we want to work with you. Black Lives Matter is all encompassing of action that we could take today, tomorrow, and the future, understanding that the past, our Black lives didn't matter. That's why we're saying Black Lives Matter now. So all lives matter is watering down the importance of Black Lives Matter. And anyone who doesn't understand that really is choosing not to understand what we're trying to tell you about Black lives in America.
What has been your reaction to the response and the recognition of people getting together on Staten Island to show support for the Black Lives Matter movement?
Oh man, it makes me so happy, for real. It makes me really happy, because I know Staten Island has it. Everybody coming together in a way that, you know, I think it's so much hope for the country. I said this on the steps of the 122, we don't have to agree. But I think we got to a point where it's like, if we don't agree, we can't talk to each other. Why is that? We may not come to a consensus of how we move forward, but we came to the table and talked about it, and maybe one thing came out of that. Maybe one thing that we could do together came out of that. And that's progress to me.
If you had to give advice to the NYPD or any cop here specifically on Staten Island, how would you say they can improve the way that they interact with people in the Black community?
I think that Chief Corey is doing a wonderful job. He's been available. He's had conversations with us. He's been active. I think we're actually doing it right now.
There's a lot of cops that I've worked with that are great. They're not the problem. So it's about really identifying, like I said, like weeding out the ones that don't need to be in there. We know who they are. They don't need to be protected. We need to be honest about that, and we need to hold them accountable. Shereese Mullings, I'm 31, St. George, Tompkinsville. My message is very clear. Meet me in the middle. I want to talk to you. I want to know how you feel. I want to know where we can come together. I want to know how we can move America forward together, not divided.